So as an example, I was walking around the class and I can see some of you guys are struggling on where to start. I can tell that a lot of you guys are just thinking too much about what you guys want to draw rather than just doing it because it's abstraction. So I'm gonna start off by just honestly a circle, another form, another form. Just because, you know what, why not? You know what I mean? There is no correct answer. You know what I mean? There is no correct drawing. You know what I mean? But there will be strengths within our drawing. You see? And it really just depends on how you approach these things to make it. Right? There is no correct drawing, right? Now you say, you know what, Mr. Ray, but I don't want to just put squigglies and just freeform it, hoping that something will come along. You know what I mean? Some people don't like working like that. So then, since it's from abstraction and not abstract, let's draw something then. Let's actually draw something. So let's start off by, let's draw Spider-Man. Right? I like Spider-Man. So I'm gonna start off like this, right? Boom, right? Boom. Now I got this thing going, right? And you're like, oh, Mr. Ray, how'd you do that so easily? Oh man, you know what? You just gotta do it. Right? Now I'm gonna bring this arm down, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect, really. You know what I mean? Trying to do everything perfect, man, ain't gonna get nowhere. You know what I mean? With drawings, man. Because nothing is perfect, man. Nothing is perfect. You know what I mean? But this is just an outline for what we want to do. You know what I mean? You know what? You're like, Mr. Ray, but that looks too good. You know what? All right, I'm going to wing it. Let's just put a big old fat. You're like, Mr. Ray, what is that? Now that right there is a foot. See, you don't see it, but I see it. Look, the knee, right? To the calves, right? To the arms, right? Does not have to be perfect. I mean, boom, you're like, now, got them all, right? Now I got my Spider-Man going, right? I know y'all see it, right? Right? Look at that. Nice. Boom. We don't need. You just come in here, the lines, but the thing is, now it's looking just a little too more noticeable, right? Like now I wouldn't consider this a form of abstraction anymore, just because we can really just see where we're going, right? The thing is, you just can't make it too perfect. So back to our topic. Since it's going to be abstraction, now we can derive something from this drawing to make it more abstraction. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? So now we can, like, let's say if this was pencil, I would just automatically put my fist over it and just start smearing it around, right? Because that form would slowly fade away. And once that happens, then I would outline only certain areas. I would start strengthening certain areas of my drawing because obviously I still want the Spider-Man to pop out. I just don't want it to be that obvious, you know? I just wouldn't want it to be that obvious. You know? See, now I'm just doing mine off the dome. Right? You're like, you know what, that looks too good. Now we're gonna start writing chaos lines, right? Like, oh, those are the buildings, right, Mr. A? Yeah, these could be the buildings. I mean, it could be a lot of other things, really. The thing is, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just like that, one drawing is there. And I'm like, Mr. A, but that's too much. Let's head it over, okay? Let's head it over. And this is how I like to start. and a work of art where like I don't want it to be too noticeable, not noticeable at the same time. So what I would do, I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna just literally just let my hand take control, right? Boom. And once I do that, I'm gonna have to bring a physical form out of what I see here. Now I'm using the power of my imagination and creation in order to bring a physical form out of nothing, right? So it could be in a form of backwards design when you're thinking about this, you know what I mean? Because you're kind of working backwards in a way, you know? So I see just a bunch of scribbles, you know what I mean? I'm like, dang, but what the heck can I pull out of this, you know? Boom. You know what? I'm gonna just start drawing over it and adding what I feel, what I want to add, right? Right? Boom. I mean, sometimes adding hands isn't always the best solution, but it's also not the worst, you know what I mean? Come on. You're like, ooh, now I see a hand there. Okay. You know what? Like, oh, you know what, Mr. Ray, I also see an eye. You know what I mean? And an eyebrow. I'm like, oh, you know what, Mr. Ray, I actually see another eye. And an eyebrow, right? And you're like, oh, dang. I'm actually doing something. You're like, you know what? I like how I drew that small, right? I like how I drew that small. So let's add a bit of foreshortening to this, right? Foreshortening is when there's something that appears much larger in the front and a lot smaller in the back that connects. And now we see that hand, right? And now we can just extend that, right? Like, let's say that was his shoulder. I mean, man's wearing a baseball cap. Because why not? You know what I mean? Because it really just, however you want to approach this, there is no right answer to this, right? Now we have him pushing out. Now we have him pushing out of this. Most people won't see this, right? I'm like, but the hands are not even right, especially because the hands are not right. That's why they won't see this. And these are just a few examples of how you could approach this, right? There is no right or wrong answer. Straight to connected to the close still. And you can start adding a bit of value of your own, certain things that you want to make darker and more noticeable. You can have a bit of a focal point, and you know, we'll get that into next week's topic. Because we can't just have that, can't just overload you. Now you see a bit of what I'm seeing, right? You have this hand, and you have this face in the back. You come hit it over here, you know, looks a bit different.